Hi guys. I'm Kiara Harper, better known as Polo. And I deal with anxiety disorder, and I just want to take y'all through my journey as I take this medicine that they got me on. This stuff, this the sertraline, 50 milligrams. I really don't like taking it because, first of all, it's like my first day taking it, but I still don't like medicine at all. Because I feel like I can beat this by myself. Well, not really by myself, but on my own naturally. But the doctor didn't feel so, so he put me on it. So I'm gonna take y'all through this journey, and I'm just rapping right now. Just rapping right now. For you out there that don't know what anxiety or panic attack is a sudden attack that comes on you without warning and is terrifying, very terrifying. You feel like you about to die, something like for real. You just lose it all, and it becomes a disorder when it ruins everyday life, when it starts interfering with everyday life, and that's what it did with me. The first panic attack I had was May 17th. May 17th, was it? Yeah, May 17th of 2012. On the way back from Greenville with my best friend. And as always, we always was in Greenville, you know, acting up, just being us, laughing with our best friend Ashley. And suddenly we almost back, and I start feeling like my heart was jumping out of my chest. So I sat up and I started breathing heavier. And excuse me, I started gasping for air. And so I was like, woo, you know. And so my best friend, my brother, he was like, you okay? I was like, yeah, I think I'm straight. And all of a sudden I started getting dizzy. And then my mouth got very, very dry, and I started shaking real bad. And he stopped the car, put on the side of the road so I can get out, see if I could walk. And I was able to walk, but I was shaking. So I told him to take me to the emergency room, and he did. And I was in there just scared, shaking, heart beating real fast, heart rate was real fast, and sweating, palm hands, like lips just turned pale and dry mouth. I didn't know what was going on. They told me that I had a panic attack, and I was like, "What? For what, guys? For what?" And I looked it up, because I'm the type of person that I research everything regardless. I don't care what it is. I research it. And my bad, I'm not looking in the camera because I like looking at myself conceited. But I researched the panic attack, and it said some people anxiety is normal. It's normal in everybody. You get it, you know, in everyday life. Whether it's worrying about bills, da da da. But some people, when it comes constant, when it comes a problem, you worry about everything, and that's me. Worry about everything. I shouldn't, but I just do. And they said some people only get it once and it goes away. So I was like, yeah, shoot, I won't get it no more after this. I'm great. I'm straight. It's whatever. After they gave me something. They put me on something, and they the hospital ER gave me a pill, and it put me to sleep. And that's about it. Then what was the jump? The next day, like I felt so weak. Like I was just like I was floating. The things that be outside, little balloon things. They be outside of a car dealership, and they be just moving, all that extra stuff. That's how I felt the next day. And all I could do was lay down. All I could do was sleep. I couldn't do nothing. Like it was awful. And I felt like that for a long time. And I had, ever since then I've been dealing with it. I was in and out of the hospital. I would go to the hospital maybe 4 days a week. 4 days a week for the first 2 months. No, first 2 or 3 months. Yeah. And was in and out of the ER because every little thing that bothered me, I felt like something was wrong. I was like, oh my god, something's like wrong with me. Like I was just going crazy. Like I didn't know what to do. Like I went there one day because I forgot what it was. Oh, because I got bit by a mosquito. And well, a couple bites or whatever, and they were hurting, like a normal mosquito bite. And being that West Nile was known to come back up, around, the West area, Texas and stuff. But, just be careful. And because of the fact that I didn't feel good that day, because also side effects of anxiety, you can have any physical symptoms, and it'll scare you. For a person with that disorder, it scares you because it makes you be like, what? It's like I had a fever. I had, hurt, my throat was sore, and upset stomach, and all this other stuff, dizziness, depersonalization, derealization, a whole bunch of stuff like that. I'm just, just out of it. So I go there, and I told them, I was like, and I know they think I'm about crazy. They done seen me so many times, they about know me. It was like, man, they was like, what's wrong with you today? I was like, y'all, just test me for West Nile, please. And so they they asked me my symptoms and all. She took my blood pressure. She took, did my vital signs or whatever. And she was like, well, your vital signs are fine. You are normal, And they tell me that every time I go, your vital signs are normal. I was like, why don't I feel normal then? Like, why don't I feel normal? But what messed me up that day when I went for the West Nile was because I looked when she took my temperature. I saw the thermometer, and I shouldn't have looked, but I looked anyway, and it said 100. So it worried me. I was like, oh God, because one of the symptoms is fever, high fever. And so she was like, no, it can't be that because your fever has to be over 104. Or it has to be 104 or higher. And I was like, oh. And so when the doctor came in from the back or whatever, he was like, have you been vomiting? I was like, no. He's like, diarrhea? I was like, no. He was like, okay, well, you don't have it. I was like, oh. And so I left there or whatever. And of course, things still bothered me. I still, I still had problems. Like I had, I felt something in my right arm or whatever, in the vein, near the vein. On, and I felt the other arm because, of course you're going to feel your other arm to make sure it matches up. But sometimes it doesn't have to. And I was worried about it for a long time. And so I went to the late night clinic at my doctor's office, and he was like, girl, you fine. It's probably just fatty tissue or your vein or whatever. I was like, oh. I was just worried, I didn't want nothing to be wrong, It's crazy. So then I looked up things that I shouldn't eat, which of course the doctor had already told me to stay off caffeine, which is kind of hard because I love Mountain Dew. Yeah. I love Mountain Dew. Like, I love it. And so I got off soda and stuff, unless it has no caffeine in it, and I got off anything that could harm me. Like, I looked up foods that I shouldn't eat, which is, it's good because I needed to, get off of it anyway. I looked up foods that I shouldn't have. I can't have chocolate. I can't have a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I can't eat sausage. I can't eat a whole bunch of stuff because it triggers it. And I was like, well, maybe that's just different people. I ate it because I am one of those where I'll be like, maybe this is just blah, whatever. It don't, equip to me. I ate it, and of course I had, it made me more anxious that day. So I just quit it or whatnot. And so I was fine. I go back to a couple weeks ago, maybe like 2 weeks ago, we went to Charlotte for a Zumbathon. And I was fine, excited, blah, blah, blah. Because, I was fine when I rode up there with my mom. I was okay. My mom, my aunt, my grandma, my cousin. I was all right. Then, of course, they had to go back. But I stayed because, my brother met me up there. We were supposed to go up there anyway. And I was fine. You know, I was alright. But I also, like, I still had a little anxious feeling. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was alright. You know, it was, iffy. So I go and we chilling or whatever. I lost appetite. You know, my appetite was on and off, which it still is now. Like, it's just like that. I have to force myself to eat sometimes. And so, like, we was coming back. We was on the way back. And suddenly, I just started having heart palpitation. That's also a symptom of a panic attack. It's a heart palpitation. It's nothing wrong. It's okay. You know, it's normal. Only difference is people with panic disorder or anxiety disorder or have problems with that, they feel it more. So they're more quick to worry. One of those. And so that I started having them and I started feeling dizzy. I started shaking and I was having it on the way back, and I was texting my girlfriend, matter of fact, and she was like, "Babe, tell them to pull you on the side of the road so you can walk." I was like, "No, I'm gonna thug it out," because by then, this matter of fact, it's been almost 6 months since I had them, and I get to the point where I want to learn how to thug it out. You know, just deal with it, just do it. You can't run from it because it makes it worse. So, like, I sat there in the car and I just looked up stuff online, because it's what I do. Sometimes I go online and I read forums of other people that has that problem, and it helps me because that lets me know that I'm not the only person going through it. I'm not the only person that deals with this daily. I'm not the only person that has these symptoms or feel like they can't go out and just do things, can't just walk around without getting dizzy spells or whatnot. And it makes me feel, a little more comfortable because I'm not the only one going through it. And so, I looked up something and it was a thing that told you how to, calm yourself down. Like, it takes 3 minutes for it to come. Take 3 minutes to you can take 3 minutes to make it calm down. So that's what I did. I sat there and I took deep breaths and all that stuff. Of course, it kind of helped. I still had the little symptoms of it, a little anxious feeling that was just sitting there in my gut, like as if, all right, do something, let something scare you, and I'm coming back. It was one of those things. So, I was straight. I was alright. I came back to the house. I was alright. I, of course, I haven't been sleeping regularly. Like, I haven't been able to sleep or whatever. That's one of the things, the symptoms. You just can't sleep. And I would have to either talk to somebody till I'm sleepy, talk to somebody to make me sleepy. Not saying that y'all are boring. Thank you for being there. Not saying that y'all are boring. Y'all are, awesome. But it helps me, helps calm my mind or whatever. And once my mind's calm, I can sleep. Or I would have to force myself to sleep by taking something to go to sleep. And I don't like taking medicine. I am one of those, I hate medicine. I hate it. So I took it, you know. I think I took NyQuil. No. I didn't, because I was on something. I was on some kind of medicine you weren't supposed to, do anything else but it. So I was on something and I took that medicine and I laid down. I, gradually went to sleep. And I was fine. I was feeling all right. I was like, okay, I'm straight. I'm dealing with this. I'm doing it. I'm doing it real big. Even when I was exercising, I started exercising and whatnot. Joined the gym, Woodman, which is like the best gym in the world. And I went there, doing Zumba or whatnot. And then suddenly I was like, all right.